Hello, welcome to the Bar Podcast. This is episode 1.
Hello, it's Duncan, and introducing us to the movie Mickey and Nicky. And we have Nicky over here.
So my name's Nick. The other guy is Duncan. And this podcast, we're just going to we'll discuss movies, but also just chit chat like regular idiots that you know. So the first movie we're going to talk about is Mikey and Nicky from 1976.
It's Mikey? That was Mickey. It rhymes.
No, I think it's Mikey and Nicky.
Okay, Mickey and Nicky is an amazing movie. It's about two clones of Jeff Goldblum who were created after a stunning performance in the revolutionary movie Jurassic Park. They cloned Jeff Goldblum twice and make him look.
Hold on a minute. That Jurassic Park came out in the 90s.
Yes, the two clones then time traveled and had a weird bromance on screen. That's my take on the movie. You see, the reason why it's Jeff Goldblum is not only do they look identical, both the actors to each other and Jeff Goldblum, they also say almost all their lines mother. It's a beautiful film where you can make out like 1 in 3 words and you have to fill in the rest for yourself.
Really?
Yeah. I did not understand them very well.
Really? Did you have subtitles on?
It wasn't working on the YouTube video.
Okay.
Hmm.
I don't remember having difficulty understanding them.
Maybe I was listening to it a bit too fast.
Which is funny because I think I'm more deaf than you are. But
yeah. More deaf.
Yeah, I have tinnitus.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, did you like it?
I thought it was interesting, but
so that's a no.
What? So
that's a no.
Look, I give it a solid 2 out of 10. It's like
2 out of 10?
Look, it's like Saddam Hussein's romance novel. Would I recommend it? Maybe. Very strong, maybe.
Really? Huh. I really liked it. I gave it an 8 out of 10.
Why don't you give the rundown for anyone listening?
Okay. Tell you what. I'll just look up a Wikipedia article.
The Wikipedia article didn't really explain much.
Yeah, I don't need to go into. Well, anyway, it's about. Here's what it says. When Nicky calls Mikey yet again to bail him out of trouble, this time a contract on his life for money he stole from his mob boss. Mikey, as always, shows up to help, overcoming the obstacles of Nicky's paranoia and blind fear. Mikey gets him out of the hotel where he has holed up, and starts to help him plan his escape. But Nicky keeps changing the plan, and a hitman is hot on their trail. That's basically what it is. It's a gangster movie.
So the opening of the movie, they have Nicky who's like having hotel. They have a hotel where Nicky is having a mental breakdown essentially, and then Mickey and threatens to like break down the door or shoot through it, but Nicky won't let him through. So Mickey breaks down the door and makes it in.
Yeah.
Yes. Then they fight on the bed in a very weird struggle session, where eventually Mickey shoves a pill down Nicky's throat. And then they talk about coffee, and then Mickey goes out to get Nicky coffee. Correct?
I think you might be mixing the names up.
I don't know. The two actors look so similar.
Well, they're acted by 2 different people.
Well, I know, but they're both.
One of them is actually a classic actor. John Cassavetes.
That would be. Me no hablo John Cassavetes.
Okay. So he goes out to get the coffee. And then let me see.
I remember there was something about a building where there was a black jazz actor, and then there
Yeah.
was fighting. And then there was this blonde lady they were hanging out with who knew about politics, and something about China was on the radio. They eventually fight and scream at each other. They fight some more for the next 30 minutes in a dark alleyway. And then eventually, Mickey decides to kill Nicky. And then he runs around with this very fat, incredibly obese assassin who eventually shoots Nicky when Nicky goes to his whore and his prostitute and his, I don't know if it's girlfriend or something. He then goes to the door of Mickey's house. Mickey and his wife won't let him in, so they let Nicky get shot in the door. Correct?
Yep. Well, wow, that's the end of the movie.
Yep. Right before the sequel, Mickey and Nicky.
There is no sequel. Actually, the movie did not do very well when it came out.
No, I remember on the Wikipedia article something about them. There was this massive spat they had with the company who was making it, which resulted
Yeah.
in them releasing it in only a few theaters, so it ended up bombing.
hmm
Which seems
It was
very
also completely edited differently than how it is available now.
that seems incredibly petty considering the fact it's their own money that already went into the movie.
I know. I
Mhm,
mean, yeah, I guess that's true.
mhm.
But no, I like this. So I'm not really a big like gangster movie fan. Like I don't really care for Goodfellas that much, which is going to be a hot take. But
Just nod
um,
and pretend I watched.
what?
I'll just nod and pretend I watched that.
But this one, I like this. I like this movie a lot. It's got a nice flow to it. It's got a nice structure.
Yep.
I think the story is kind of interesting. And I mean, when I first saw it, I had no idea about the ending. So I was kind of surprised by that.
Hmm. I find it
You didn't
interesting.
like it?
I find it interesting how Mickey and Nick, the whole movie was basically building up to Mickey just stabbing Nicky in the back and letting him get shot. I'll hand it to the film. That was actually pretty smart, and I didn't expect that
Yeah.
to happen. But they kind of let them fight on for a bit too long, if you ask me.
Like
Like,
the whole movie is a little too long.
no, it's just the specific scene I'm talking about is
Oh,
they argue with the blonde chick. They get out into the alleyway, and then it is 20 minutes of straight up arguing between the two of them.
oh yeah, yeah, I remember that. Yeah, yeah, I
Mhm.
could agree on that.
Yeah, and the most frustrating part of it for me was the fact that the actors look nigh identical and they're both in the same type of suit. The way I tell them apart was that Nicky was the one who had a higher pitched voice, and that was the only way I could tell them apart.
Um, I mean, if you kind of look at the picture on the poster, it doesn't. There's a little bit of a difference, mainly like hairstyle.
Hmm.
But well, one's wearing a tie, the other isn't on the poster at least.
Of course, the great tie, the great divider between Mickey and Nicky.
I don't know. I just found the movie amusing how they just kept going to these places. Like all of a sudden, he wants to go to the cemetery just randomly while they're on the bus.
Hmm. Yeah, and Nicky's just dragging Mickey around the entire place until Mickey's like, you know what, screw it, let's just get him shot. I found that kind of.
Well, I mean, if somebody was leading you like that, wouldn't you get a little tired of that?
Hmm. You sound like you're talking from personal experience. Hmm. Yeah.
It's an interesting movie, though. Kind of different.
Yes. Yes, it is. Perhaps. Hmm.
Perhaps too different, you were going to say?
No, 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 no. Perhaps we could improve upon it. Perhaps
Well,
Disney could buy the rights to it and make a live action
no.
remake of Mickey and Nicky. Then they could make the Mickey and Nicky Cinematic Universe, the MNCU, where
It's,
you
it's
make.
Mike. It's Mikey and Nicky.
I don't care. Mickey rhyme. Mikey and Nicky just is kind of an impediment on the speech. Mickey and Nicky, that rhyme.
well, they're spelled two different ways. One has an EI and the other just a Y.
The E can be silent. That's my
Okay.
interpretation of the movie. That's my great theory. The E is silent. If the English language can.
Well, I'm trying to think. Would this movie be remade today?
It would end with
Like,
it would have a happy ending, or they both would die. Simple as.
well, yeah, I agree, but I don't know if they would do. I don't know if they would have both of them die. That might be a little for Hollywood. That might be a little upsetting to them.
It might make it. It would be PG-13.
Yeah, that is one. That is definitely one thing they would do.
Yes. Yeah, I don't understand that trend in Hollywood. Well, they'll take subjects like, say, the mafia, brutal gang wars, and they're like, okay, we'll make it PG-13 to try and appeal to children.
Oh, they've been doing that with horror movies forever.
Oh God, have you ever seen Venom 2? Let There Be Carnage.
No, why would I watch that?
Uh,
Because like,
all right.
I would never watch Venom.
Look, Venom is a fine movie. It just with Venom 1, the problem with that is that it has a good Act 1 and Act 2, and then Act 3 happens in the total of 5 minutes. Venom 2 is better since Act 3 happens in the span of 15 minutes, so they tripled their improvement there. But the biggest problem I have with Venom 2, and keep in mind I actually like that movie, is it's PG-13. Now, normally I'm not the kind of guy who just wants gore everywhere. I'm not one of those people. But if you watch Venom 2, just look for where they cut scenes in order to make it PG-13. Because that is the most
Yeah, I could
obnoxious
see.
film when it. What?
I could see that. Yeah.
Yeah, that film in particular is the most obnoxious film I've ever seen with that one. Because you have Carnage, the evil Venom who eats people for fun, the red one. And
Yeah.
the guy breaks out of the prison to start eating people. And then he's supposed to chop down a security guard's head. It shows the jaw going down, snaps away to the back. Like the security guard's being held in front. It's at his back while he's chewing on the guy. And then when it snaps back to the front again, the guy is just gone with it. His head's gone. He just flops on the ground. And they do that time and time and time again in the movie.
It doesn't sound very good.
The movie's good. It's just that one problem with it is it. That's the one
Well,
thing.
okay. You're also the same guy that said Morbius was a good movie.
Yes, and I will
It's
defend that.
not. Okay. I went out to California a couple months ago, and you know how they always have the entertainment on the seats and all that. You can watch a movie.
Entertainment on the seats.
I decided to watch Morbius out of morbid curiosity. Okay.
Elaborate further.
That movie is absolute fucking garbage.
No,
Jared Leto
the
is
glory of
awful.
Supreme Leader Jared Leto. Yeah,
Jared
no,
Leto, who the only good thing Jared Leto has going for him is that he dies in American Psycho. He loses an arm in Requiem for a Dream. He gets punched to death in Fight Club. Basically, whenever he dies, it's a good movie.
you have some sort of vendetta against this Mr. Leto.
I don't like him. Well, it's also the fact that Jared Leto is a bit of a prick about his acting style, but
Didn't he go kind of insane while filming Suicide Squad?
well, not just Suicide Squad. He's done that with I'd say every movie since Suicide Squad, including Morbius. He calls himself a method actor, but
And
he kind of takes advantage of that.
and that's when they basically ship rats to people as an excuse, right? Didn't he do that with the Suicide Squad?
Yeah, I think that might have been him that did that. Yeah.
Correction, Suicide Squad, not the Suicide Squad. I love that movie.
I've seen the original Suicide Squad. Hated it.
Did you see the new one?
No, I refuse to. I don't care if it's better. I don't care.
Please, it is nothing like the original one. It is actually funny.
I know it's not, but I just don't care to watch it.
All right, that's another film I'm going to have to force you to watch because unlike Suicide Squad, the Suicide Squad, which I hate that title difference, that the Suicide Squad is actually funny.
Well, Final Destination did that too.
It's also rated R, so it's positive.
Yeah,
they make use of that.
The thing in general, I'm so sick of superhero movies. It's a dead genre to me. It's so dead to me.
Speaking of superhero movies, I saw Black Adam with my friend Aiden at the mall.
Oh God, that's the Rock movie, isn't it?
Yes. Now I'm gonna
tell us about it.
Okay. Now originally, I was completely opposed to The Rock playing Black Adam because Black Adam in the comics is a Middle Eastern man with hair, black hair, and in real life, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, is he Polynesian?
He's from an island. One of them.
Yeah, I know I think he's one of the Pacific Native groups. I can't remember which group specifically he belongs to, but I just didn't really think that, him being bald, I didn't think he'd be the greatest choice for Black Adam. And I was honestly pretty astonished by his performance in the movie because he kind of goes all in with the actual character when it comes to he
is Samoan. It's a Polynesian. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I didn't think a bald Polynesian man would be the best choice to play an Arab character with black hair,
Yeah, that's fair.
It's kind of like having, I don't know, a Chinese grandma playing Dumbledore. Some things don't fit. Anyway, his performance in that movie was actually amazing. And it was, yes, there was two sucky things about the movie. And that's first, it's kind of one thing where there's a lot of corny stuff in the movie. Like they have this one kid who's supposed to, be the inspiration for the people of Iraq. Sorry, Kandak. No similarities whatsoever to actual countries in real life. But the kid is just cringe. Like he openly gives a speech in the first 5 minutes of the movie to some mercenary at the place. And he goes on this minute-long tirade about calling him a neo-colonialist oppressor of my glorious country. In that squeaky, prepubescent voice. While the guard has a gun to his head. Sadly, the kid doesn't get his brains blown out. He goes through the entire movie and is annoying. And then they have.
I mean, I hate children next to anybody.
Another problem is CGI in this movie. Now, I want to be clear. Where they spend the money on the CGI, where they actually spent it, like with Black Adam, that looks pretty good. The problem is you can kind of tell they spent 95% of the budget on Black Adam and 5% of it on the climax. Because the main villain, when he shows up, literally looks like a PlayStation 4 character. He shows back up from the underworld in his discount Satan uniform, and he literally looks like, what is it, one of the villains from God of War.
Ragnarok?
I don't know. One of those games.
I've never played it. I don't know. That's a guess.
Neither have I. I'm just going off the top of my head. Anyway, so Rock did a pretty good job. The secondary problem, how I mentioned it has a bunch of corny stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Now, a lot of movies have the themes, especially superhero movies, on whether to be heroes or villains. Now, there's this old rule in writing called show don't tell. Now, it's not really.
I'm familiar with that.
Tell people much, but in this kinds of stories, it's simply if you have a theme, never state it directly. And by that, I mean they constantly go with Dwayne The Rock Johnson. He essentially, throughout the movie, he does kill people, But keep in mind, the people he's killing are ruthless mercenaries who have been gunning down civilians in the streets and have been occupying the entire country to strip mine it. And then
Yeah.
they send in heroes to stop him from killing the actual mercenary terrorists who are exploiting the country. And repeatedly, they bring up in the movie, they're like, he may not be a hero, but he is protecting our country. Well, you just got angry that he was protecting us. Now, keep in mind, the reason they want Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson to be put back in jail for the superheroes is because he kills people. And he's killing people. But as they say, they didn't do anything to stop the mercenaries who were killing people. So why do they only have a problem with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson killing people if the mercenaries can do that with actual super weapons, by the way, using Eternium?
I
Not
guess just to advance the plot. I don't know.
yeah. And I swear to God, they constantly are like, "Oh, is he a hero? No, he's something darker, something we need."
Oh,
Well,
that sounds
are you going to be
cringe.
a villain? Yeah, like for the love of
Oh,
God.
that sounds horrible.
Yeah, and the biggest problem I have with that is that when the movie isn't doing the corny crap and when it focuses on Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson himself, like in terms of both action and story arc, those both things are incredibly strong with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. I don't want to spoil the movie for you because for his
Yeah.
character alone, I think you should watch it. But there's essentially this
Okay.
plot point that gets the annoying kid tied in, and it's basically like why The Rock didn't just like vaporize the kid the second he saw him, since he's an annoying kid. And then
Yeah.
it later reveals
All
that
kids are annoying. Just put
yeah,
that out
well,
there.
there's a big twist. There's a big twist at the end, and
Oh
yeah,
shit, really?
yes, I don't want to spoil it,
Yeah.
especially since that'd be a bit screwy for the audience and you. But watch the movie, all right? It's worth it.
Maybe one day. Maybe when it gets onto HBO, I might watch it.
Isn't HBO kind of going down in flames? Last I heard.
Yeah. Well, Warner Brothers in general is going downhill.
They literally purged almost the entire Cartoon Network animation department.
And Adult Swim, yeah.
90%.
It's terrible.
It's just like the creator of, I don't know if you ever heard of the show Infinity Train. They got to season
No.
2. It was all right.
Okay.
It's a good show, very well liked. It has a strong fan base. It was selling a lot of merch, making money. For some reason, HBO Max decided to can the show, remove the disc from purchase. So you'd see on social
Oh.
media the creator was
Yeah.
encouraging everyone to pirate their show because thanks to HBO Max, that was now the only way you can see that show.
Good on him.
Yeah.
I mean, I will absolutely advocate for piracy if it's something you cannot access anywhere else.
hmm Yeah, and with this, they're making the Galaxy Brain decision of essentially what I heard is the guy who bought HBO Max is head of Discovery, and he wants to
Yep.
fuse the services. However, he wants to take all of HBO Max's content and put it on Discovery. Discovery has 1/3 of the subscribers that HBO Max has, if even that.
I think I've read that I think they're just going to merge the two services together, I think.
Yes, they're going to take HBO's content and move that onto Discovery. Not take
So
Discovery and put it on HBO Max.
yeah, that's a little
His,
weird.
his whole plan essentially is to maximize profits for the shareholders and that's why they're purging all the shows, all the actors, everyone in the company essentially is getting fired, so they don't have to pay them their money to
What
get
the
this
hell is
shit
on
done.
Discovery Plus anyway?
Tiger documentaries. I don't know what they have on there. There's too many
Okay.
streaming services, if you ask me. But quite
That's
simply,
a whole other conversation.
yeah. And the idiot is, how did this idiot get in charge? First off, there's the whole HBO Max to Discovery, which is going to cost them a massive amount of money. But he doesn't seem to realize
The
that.
thing is, this isn't the first time that's happened with the merger, though. This has happened also when they merged with AOL in the early 2000s.
Yeah, but with this, HBO Max makes entertainment. That is what their company does, and that is how they make money. If they make no entertainment, they make no money. and they're firing everyone who makes the entertainment. And it's like, you're going to have profit go up for a single year. And then after that, since you fired 90% of the workforce, it's just going to go down like this. It's
Yeah.
like firing everyone who works at the oil rig and then wondering where all the oil went.
Yeah, they're them and like Twitter are hella going downhill.
Well, at least Twitter's going down to base. They let
But Twitter is just a really funny story.
I love Twitter the past month. They, in the span of a single month, they've gotten blue check marks. They've cost God knows how many companies
Companies,
billions
millions.
of dollars. Which, as someone who has allergies and family members who are diabetics, watching the insulin companies lose billions of dollars, go Elon. Never stop with that. Those greedy bastards deserve to lose it all.
Yeah,
And
they
then,
do.
yeah, then they, after removing that and people firing more and more people, like I think 90% of the workforce is getting axed off at this
Yep.
point. They then
Yep.
put up to a poll to let Trump back on, and then they get him back on. Now
He say he doesn't even want to be on it.
he says he doesn't want to be on it, but the account went from following 0 people to 49. Which you know
Well,
what
I'm assuming he probably has a team or something that manages all that stuff.
Let's be honest. Be honest with me. You know that he's eventually going to cave into it if that account stays up there.
I don't know.
I mean, maybe he'll put his tweets up first on Truth Social and then Twitter. Like that's what my guess is what's going to happen. But
I don't
considering the
know.
fact that followers at this point are like 9.2 million, if it keeps going up like that, I find it very hard to believe that Trump's seriously going to do nothing with that account at all. Like 9.2 million, even if it's like tweeting out, hey, follow me on Truth Social, like something like that. I can't imagine he's not going to have any interaction with Twitter at all.
I'm sure sometime he'll probably get sucked into it.
Yeah. Anyway, speaking of movies,
What other
Smile.
movies have you seen in theaters?
Take a guess.
Smile?
Yes.
Okay. I saw it. So, all right. I have a class that I have every week, and part of that class is we watch a trailer for a movie that's coming out, and we watch the trailer to Smile, and
Oh.
it looked like the stupidest fucking
But-
movie.
They made. I saw those trailers. Now I want you to know you're right about the trailers. They are god awful, and the
Yeah.
reason I hated it is I remember seeing this old horror movie called Smile. Not like no, that probably wasn't the title, but basically they would post like a picture of some creepy online guy smiling.
Truth or Dare?
No, I don't think it was Truth or Dare. It was an older movie than that. But they'd post the
Oh,
image on
okay.
you'd see it, and then at night it would like kill you. And then the twist at the end of the movie, it had 2 twists. The first was it didn't exist. It was just the college kids killing off the college girls they didn't like. The second twist, however, was the conspirators were killed because the monster did exist. And yes, it was a god awful movie. If you look on Pyrocynical, the YouTube channel Pyrocynical for its movie reviews, I think it's somewhere on. I can't be certain about that. But that's what it reminded me of. And the movie astonished me. It actually, in the words of famous tard, not J.J. Abrams, Ryan Johnson, the famous tard Ryan Johnson, it subverted my expectations by not being terrible. It was a good movie.
Really?
Yes.
That trailer, you saw that trailer, and you're telling me that's a good movie.
Yes, actually. They actually tried with the movie. It was astonishing. Now, I will say the problem I have with that movie is it has the same ending that every horror movie ever has, if you can catch my meaning.
Oh, yeah, I can guess it.
Hey, we made it to safety. No.
Yeah.
However, despite that one shortcoming, it was actually a pretty good movie. It had a lot of good scares in it, and it kind of built up the threat of the monster more and more, but they kept it ambiguous. on how to survive it. And they did have some pretty horrifying sights in there. So it was the movie I went out to see with my girlfriend, actually.
Hmm.
hmm And about 2/3 of the way through the movie, she got scared. So I wrapped my arm around her and she snuggled into me. So
Okay.
well, no response. I
That
thought
might
that
be a
get
little
more of
too
a
much. That
reaction.
might be a little too much information.
I thought they would have gotten more of a reaction out of you.
Well, what'd you expect? So, what kind of reaction did you expect?
Astonishment, really.
Well, I
Surprise.
am a little shocked, but
You're just going through the first. You're just going through the first stage of grief, denial.
well, the first stage of grief is depression.
Is it?
Well, yeah,
No, it's. I think it's denial.
okay. Did
Anyway,
you see? Have you seen Barbarian?
no. What's that about?
That was the other horror movie that kind of came out recently. That movie is really bad, actually.
Really? Because I remember every single trailer was just them posting 5-star reviews, which kind of made me
Oh yeah,
suspicious.
yeah, I know. Everyone, not just like the trailer, but like critics and audience members are raving about it, and the
Yeah,
movie
horror
just
movies.
sucks.
Yeah, horror movies are a dime a trillion at this point. How did they think that that was going to be a good strategy?
Um,
Wh-
the characters are just so stupid in it.
Who's so stupid in it?
The characters,
Oh, what's the movie
like,
about?
so it's about this. It's about this woman who, for some reason, rents an Airbnb in like the slum of Detroit.
Oh, so they bought it for like 5 cents.
for s- for some fucking reason. And that's like the big issue right away is who does that? Who gets an Airbnb in like the worst area of Detroit? But
Why not?
anyway,
You can buy like entire houses in Detroit for like $1. You could just buy an entire city block and just for like $50. Well, yeah, why would you get an Airbnb? You can just break into like 20 houses you own.
so anyway, she shows up at this house and somebody's staying there. So there's a little, little miscommunication and all that boring stuff. Then the guy starts acting kind of weird.
And then
And then,
crazy,
you know,
he's a crazy stalker.
and that, well, actually, no. Uh, It's never explained why he acts weird, actually, because it has nothing to do with anything. But anyway, she ends up going into the basement of this house. Again, smart idea. And there's this long, like, catacombs she finds. And she discovers this, like, saw kind of room, like a hospital bed and, like, blood and all that all over. And then
So,
she discovers this creature down there, and then it
hmm.
cuts to black, and then it's like a whole different movie about a guy getting canceled for raping somebody.
Sorry, what? How does that
So
happen?
I
So,
don't know. I don't know. When I first saw it, like they show the creature in the basement. I think from what I remember, I think the creature is like slaps her, and then the movie cuts to black, and then now all of a sudden they're out in like L.A. and it's this guy driving in a car down the road, and he gets a call from either his manager or agent or something saying that he's being accused of raping somebody or sexually assaulting somebody, whichever.
are they
And it's just like
insinuating?
this big like 180 turn. But eventually it kind of makes sense. How it ends up going is that he needs money for a lawyer, even though he's in Hollywood. He probably should already have the money. But anyway, he needs money, and he owns, I guess, that house in Detroit somehow. And so he goes down there, and yeah, that's all I'll say about it.
Hmm.
It's really bad. It's on HBO Max right now,
Unfortunately,
which
I
is
do not.
weird. Which is weird because it's a Disney movie.
It's just talking about the magic of Disney, what happens back doors in Mickey Mouse's house. You know,
Yeah.
that the creature is obviously a metaphor for the actual Mickey Mouse they have right next to Walt Disney's frozen decapitated head.
I hope Disney just burns to the ground one day.
Well, they're having to lay off like 10,000 employees, if that makes you feel any better.
No, because then I feel bad for the employees. Well, yeah, I do feel bad for them.
Well, it's kind of like a collective sacrifice. Like they may suffer in the short term, but it's making Disney suffer, so it's kind of okay.
I guess.
I
I just want to see Disneyland or Disney World burn to the ground.
You might not want to have this on recording if this conversation goes any further.
Well, that's why I'm going to say that for legal reasons, that was a joke.
For legal reasons, we are dead serious. We are planning on arsoning
No,
every
no,
single.
no, 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 no.
We have read
No,
industrial
no, no,
society.
no, 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 no. That was a joke. It was all a joke. I do not wish death on. I didn't say death. I don't wish destruction on
We wish
Disney. I don't
flames
wish.
on the
I
enemies
do
of
not
Allah.
wish Disney parks to be burned to the ground. No, 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 no.
Jihadist proletariat.
It was a joke. It was a joke. Before Mickey Mouse comes hunting me down, it was a joke.
Look, Mickey. Anyway,
it was all a joke. I do not wish Disney to be burnt to the ground.
that is all I will put. Anyway, what now?
I haven't been to a theater since I saw Elvis, actually. Did you see that?
Yes, I did.
I think we did talk about that, actually.
Yeah, they had the advisor who was the fat guy.
Manager, yeah. Tom Hanks.
And then he eventually grooms Elvis until he himself becomes fat, then dies in the toilet.
Well, they don't show that part.
Well, the confusing thing about the movie to me was the ending was Elvis is overdosing on the plane. All right, sorry if I'm spoiling this for anyone who doesn't know about Elvis. But Elvis is fat. He gets on the plane. He overdoses. There's this toilet. He like flops back onto the toilet. And the camera angle is like onto his back as he falls on it. And then it fades to black. And then it's like credits about, oh, Elvis died on the plane of a drug overdose. It's just, I thought that was pretty disrespectful.
Yeah.
To just have his death be him flopping on the toilet of a drug overdose and then having.
Well, it's because I believe that's how it really happened.
Well, I know, but could they not have just handled it a bit with a bit of, I don't know, elegance? Like just, like have a paramedic. No, like have that scene. He flops back, and then like flash forward 15 minutes. Some paramedics are wheeling him out the plane. Family member, gust, shock, oh the horror.
Yeah.
Then flash to credits. Well, at least you're handling the guy's death with dignity. On the toilet scene, it just felt a bit, it just felt a bit wrong.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
The movie itself is fine. It's an okay movie.
Yeah, I'm not much of an Elvis fan, and everyone I've talked to who is an Elvis fan pretty much adored the movie. And even though I kind of think the first half was a bit of a seizure fest between all the bright light, the flashing around, the loud noises, all the stuff. But yeah, I think it was a decent movie.
It's not terrible. It's fine.
Like
compared to that Marilyn Monroe movie on Netflix that was really bad.
All right, hold up. Let me just
Blonde.
jump. The movie's called Blonde. It was based off a book, and the author of the book is
it's fictional book.
Yeah, and the author of the book is very weird about it because they basically said that it's not a biography on Marilyn Monroe. It's not a dramatized version of her life. We took Marilyn Monroe and put her in a fictional biography of her own life, which is just, I have a feeling that's just going to make a lot of people confused on what actually happened in the woman's life. You
I think
know?
the best way to describe it, I think, is that it's not a Marilyn Monroe biopic. It's a fictionalized, fetishized, like redo of Marilyn Monroe's life.
And that's
I
not
mean,
comforting.
the movie's a mess.
The movie's a mess.
I mean, it is. It's because when it first started, I was kind of enjoying it because I do have kind of a guilty pleasure for biopic movies. I don't mind them as much as others do, except for Bohemian Rhapsody, which is actually awful, and this. But
It
I
was
was enjoying it in the beginning because I actually didn't know about it was I didn't know that it was fictional until after I saw it.
Mm.
So I was actually interested in her life.
Yeah.
But as I watched something about it as I was watching was like, this does not seem plausible. And then you look it
Well,
up and it's like, yeah, it's a fictional book it's based off of.
yep. Can't wait for the 20 trillion people who watch it to just accept that as the actual version of history. Yeah.
No, because actually a lot of people hate that movie. I think that movie is sitting at like a 5 point something on IMDb.
That's good to hear. Yeah, I
Five
don't
point 5.5.
I don't hate biography movies. The one problem I have with that genre is they kind of feel the same to me because there's
Yeah.
only really two types of biography movies. The tragic one, which is you have the young person, promising career. They have a great time. They get corrupted by wealth and money and power. They become some sort of drug using crazy degenerate. They get sad. They try to change and they die. Or there's a happy one where it's just they stay a good person and then it ends with the book and they're old in the rocking chair. Am I wrong?
No, you're right. I mean,
Yeah.
biopics are not loved. It's not a love genre.
I'm
A lot of
not
people
saying
despise them.
I'm not saying they're like bad. I'm just saying it only really ends in like two ways. And you can
Yeah.
only watch so many movies about that kind of genre and watch the same kind of story arc happen over and over again until it's like, all right, I'm moving on to something else.
Every once in a while, they kind of spice it up. Rocket Man is a good example of that, where it's more fantasy and musical than just a generic biopic.
Yes, talking about the life of the glorious leader, Kim Jong-un.
No, Elton
I
John.
know. I know. I'm just remembering to when Trump, for like 2 months, was calling Kim Jong Un Rocket Man and saying he was on a suicide mission. God, I love that.
um, yeah, there really isn't a lot of biopics that are like that original.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
Blonde was not good.
You know what? Let's just spice this up a bit. There's a bunch of movie news and shows right now. I want you to
Uh,
tell me which one you hate the most, which is coming out that you've heard of.
Coming out this year or in the future?
That's already come out or is coming out. Something recent, like 6 months in the
Okay.
past or future.
Okay.
Give me your full visceral rage.
All right. I feel worried.
No, let the anger flow through you.
Okay. I mean, I will say that there's only one movie left that's coming out this year that I'm really excited to see, and that's Babylon.
What's even the
That trailer was fucking awesome.
what's even the premise with that? Because it's kind of just Harley Quinn wants to fight a snake.
Well, I don't know. It's about like well, let me find the IMDb listing. It's a tale of outsized ambition and outrageous excess. It traces the rise and fall of multiple characters during an era of unbridled decadence and depravity in early Hollywood.
That doesn't really narrow it down at all.
And
Is it like?
the movie is 3 hours and 8 minutes.
Oh my God! No, what? How?
Well, but the thing is, Damien Chazelle has not made a bad movie yet.
What movies has he made?
Whiplash is probably his best, and that was his first one. He made La La Land. He did First Man, and that's it. That's all he's made so far.
La La Land sounds familiar.
That was the musical movie from 2016.
Is that
Ryan something? Gosling.
is that the one with the woman in the yellow dress who's on the bridge
Yep.
singing about a dream? Oh, I remember.
Yeah.
We had a long time ago in I think like middle school choir. I had
Middle
to
School
sing.
Choir. Yep. We did a song from that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep.
Wow, that was a long time ago. Good song though.
Yeah. That movie has a pretty good soundtrack. All right.
Mhm.
So, what are the movies you want me to be pissed about?
Just give me one example. There has to be.
Oh man. I mean, I could just say Marvel and leave it at that. But
You want no? You know what? You want to trash Marvel? Let's trash Marvel.
yeah, let's trash Marvel. Hell yeah. All right. Marvel is absolute garbage.
They
I hate that everything is green screen. I hate how it's written. And I hate that it comes out every like 2 or 3 months.
look. It's simple. The biggest problem with Marvel is the lack of movies. There needs to be one
No.
every single week. They can make.
No.
They have tens of thousands of comics in their catalog. They can make more.
Marvel is a factory. Like Disney, like Pixar, it's a factory.
hmm
And that's all I'm going to say about it.
Yeah, I think Marvel when they try to do good, like with say Spider-Man, what is it? It's not No Way Home, Homecoming. What's the one with the three Spider-Mans?
No Way Home.
All right, No Way Home. When they actually try and put some soul into it, they can make a good movie. Like I thought that was a pretty good movie. The problem
I've
with
seen it.
Marvel,
I have seen it. And I think the best way to describe it is like a theme park ride. You
who's
get
that one?
entertainment for like a couple minutes,
Who's the one
and that's it.
pretentious film director who mentioned that?
That's Martin Scorsese, and he's absolutely right because it feels exactly like that.
Now, what's the last movie he made?
Oh, wasn't it The Irishman, I think?
When's the last time he's made a movie that was under 3 hours or close to?
Uh,
All right,
Goodfellas is under 3 hours.
all right.
Let me see. Wolf of Wall Street's 3. Oh, Hugo. Hugo is under 2.
Yeah, well, I
Shutter
no.
Island. The Departed's under 3.
Contrary to what when Scorsese has to say, I think when Marvel actually tries with their movies, they can be pretty good. The problem is you saw this problem heading towards Endgame, where the production was picking up more and more. Like, keep in mind, where did Marvel start off? It was like Hulk, Thor, Iron Man, and Captain America, and I think then it was the Avengers. And those were like five movies spread out after like half a decade, I think, or so of films. I might be getting this
Yeah,
wrong.
that
There
sounds
may
about
have
right.
been, yeah, there may have been like I think there was some more Iron Man or Thor, but I don't know when those sequels were made. But then
Okay.
you flash forward to the next 5 years, and the production picks up a bit, and from like that, from Avengers to say Endgame, they had a few stumbles, like say Captain Marvel, or how in Black Panther they literally had at the climax they had rhino farmers who took these blankets, they put them over themselves while this enemy army was charging at them with spears. And keep in mind, this is supposed to be a sci-fi African country, and they're still using spears. And the blankets turn into laser defense shields. Never watch that movie because you want to. If you have any common sense, you want to blow your brains out at just that scene. But they have the cat fight for the I'm not making this about Black Panther, but there was stumbles in kind of mid-tier movies. Like I liked, I was one of the few people who really liked Ant-Man, but ain't nobody a fan of Ant-Man and the Wasp, you know?
I remember the trailer for that one for
Yeah,
some reason.
yeah. Just watch Ant-Man. It's a good superhero movie. The sequel is bland as balls. There's, but they kind of were having more and more of the needless movies, like Ant-Man and the Wasp in Marvel. The only reason that movie exists in the whole Marvel timeline is to have Ant-Man shrunk down for Endgame, so he can come back. But let's look at the movies that happened after Endgame. And with Marvel production, first off, TV shows. Since Disney Plus needs so many TV shows, they take every random character who they started off in the group and they split them off to some random stuff that has no connection. Like Loki. Did you ever hear about that show?
I've only heard of the She-Hulk one.
Oh, yeah. The like with Loki, they just casually have Loki brought back from death, so he doesn't sacrifice himself. There's one emotional beat from the series removed. And then they're like, essentially, there are 20 quintillion timelines or something insane like that. And there's also near endless infinity stones. Like they have infinity stones as paperweights just to try and crap on the previous movies. And then it's just the multiverse can work in concept, but it's kind of like the whole hero villain debacle from Black Adam, in which the more you mention it, the more it becomes a gimmick. Like I think with Marvel, if you keep it only to a limited perspective, like if there's say only 3 Spider-Mans, there was or Spider-Man, what's the animated Spider-Man with Miles Morales?
Spider-Verse?
Yeah. Well, Spider-Verse, it's kind of halfway in between there. I do think Spider-Verse is a good movie. Have you seen it?
Yeah, I've seen it. It's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, well, if you look at the characters there, they kind of exemplify the both the good and the bad I have with the multiverse, in which if you have the old and fat Peter Parker, like that's the good part of the multiverse where it can actually take a character, and it's one of the few ways you can take a character and have a clone of them that went on a different life path and have them talking to each other. And that kind of stuff can be absolutely fascinating, like with Miles Morales, this young kid who's new to being Spider-Man, and this old, kind of tired, sarcastic Spider-Man talking to each other. They have a really good dynamic in the show, in the movie. And then you get to Porky Pig, the Spider-Man. He doesn't have any great character behind him. He's just a gimmick. And that's one of the things I hate about the multiverse is because when it is done great, it can be amazing with the two different characters. When it's done poorly, it's just Porky Pig. It's the gimmick, like you take 5 different versions of yourself from a multiverse. I'm the Nick who's an accountant. I'm the Nick with fire for hands. I'm the Nick who's a redhead, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And almost every one of these new Marvel shows or movies, nothing connects. Like in Eternals, space gods made everything, and they want to eat Earth to make some new space god, and they stop him from doing so. Yep. It's like the line from the trailer. We swore never to intervene in humanity's history, but chose to guide them. It's like, that's not intervening. Like, what great success other than like Spider-Man No Way Home has Marvel had in these new movies?
Not much. Well, diehard Marvel fans.
Well, yeah, but
It's
like,
just becoming it's so just it's just too much.
yeah,
The
I
market
think,
is just oversaturated.
yeah, I think the main problem with Marvel is they went from Marvel working with Disney, like with the first early few movies, to Disney's biggest cash cow ever since Star
Yeah.
Wars bombed, thanks to their incompetence.
Well,
And
they're
if
making
you
more Star Wars movies, don't you know?
Yeah, they've been making more. They've been quote unquote making more Star Wars movies for the past few years, and they still haven't been coming out. And Rise of Skywalker was, I don't think it was a bomb for them the way Solo was, but Last Jedi made back half the money Force Awakens did. And I think Rise of Skywalker made like less than $1 billion than The Last Jedi did. And I may be wrong in those numbers, but I do think they're somewhere around that. It's like they were talking about who's the actress who plays Captain Marvel.
I have no idea.
They were talking about giving her an entire trilogy of Star Wars movies headed by Rian Johnson, or a Kenobi movie. That was axed. That got turned into the Kenobi TV show. Or what happened to the
Brie
Mandalorian?
Larson was her name.
Yeah, Brie Larson. What happened to the Boba Fett movie? That's not happening anymore. They got the Mandalorian. Like they've been trying to make like a dozen or so random Star Wars movies, and they keep getting axed. So unless Star Wars gets new leadership, I don't think they're going to make too many more movies. Sorry,
Yeah.
that I'm getting dragged off into my Star Wars depression. So,
There's just a lot of Disney slander today.
yeah.
Let's talk about something that's not Disney.
Mm.
So you were talking about a movie that I hate that's coming out,
Mm-hmm.
and I got one. I got one that's coming. Did you know that there's going to be a new Willy Wonka movie coming out next year?
Sorry, what? They're making a
Yeah.
new Willy Wonka movie.
Yeah, with Timothy Chalamet.
Timothy who?
The guy from Dune.
Can you give me the last name again?
Chalamet.
Chalamet. I got Timothy Chalamet. Chalamet.
Yeah.
Wait, oh my! They can't be making him the new Willy Wonka.
They are making him the new Willy Wonka. The movie is
No.
called. The movie's going to be called Wonka.
So is it supposed to be like Joker?
No, well, actually, we'll talk about. I guess we'll talk about Joker in a little bit. This is going to be a prequel to Willy Wonka.
Do you really want a prequel to Willy Wonka?
No, I do not.
Because if you put all the children's fantasy stuff aside and try and make this prequel to it, this live-action adult prequel, let's be honest here. How many crimes were really involved in Willy Wonka's creation of that factory, realistically?
Yeah,
I mean,
there's
his
a lot.
entire workforce is a South American tribe of midgets that was imported. And
just why?
well, I want you to imagine modern day Hollywood with all their politics.
Why does this have to be?
Because they're stupid. But I want you to
apparently the movie is gonna have new songs by an Irish band called The Divine Comedy.
It'll just be Billie Eilish singles sung by a bunch of midgets, or as the actor for Tyrion Lannister might say, what was it? He was the guy who threw a hissy fit about there being dwarves in Snow White.
I've never heard that.
Oh yeah, they're trying to make another live-action Snow White movie, and the guy who played Tyrion Lannister.
That does not surprise me.
Yeah, and it's a complete mess because it's another Disney project where they're trying to have the live-action movie be spiced up by putting in the most woke politics. Like they complained about.
I do not want to talk about the live-action Disney movies because they make me so depressed.
Yeah.
We're not going there.
Okay. I understand.
Yeah,
I'm a Star Wars fan. I can understand why some franchises you don't want to talk about.
So there's not okay. Oh yeah, we were gonna. Well, we'll talk about that.
Wonka.
Yeah, Wonka.
With modern day Hollywood's politics, how exactly are they going to have? How are they going to justify Willy Wonka going to a South American tribe of midgets and convincing them to all come?
Is that actually in the book?
What?
Is that actually in the book?
I don't know if it's in the book, but I know in both the movies, it's basically in the older one. He just says, "Oh, there's some tribe I met," and in the newer movie. The newer movie, which I actually liked a lot, it was essentially there's this scene where he's
really. You like the Johnny Depp movie?
Unironically, yes, actually.
Really?
For the main reason being, they clarified that he didn't kill off all the children. Yep.
The idea of there's nothing wrong with them killing the children, but the
I love
original Willy
Nick, this is not
no,
the
Willy
right.
the original Willy Wonka is almost a masterpiece. And I say almost because there is a couple parts that I don't like.
I think it's the funniest killer saga ever. Murder mystery.
While
Kid getting killed by candy. So fun.
while the Johnny Depp one is just overly long. It's not necessary.
I liked it. Johnny Depp clearly does not know how to act like a normal human being, so he plays Willy Wonka very well.
Yeah, I guess so. That was supposed to be Michael Jackson originally.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would also be a very good one, but that'd be even creepier.
Not only would it be creepier, but it also, as a musical, it'd be better.
Maybe.
I'm interested.
That
What
movie
is
should not be made.
There's 4 more books about it. It's in a series. That's why we didn't like it.
Doesn't change the fact that Ender's Game is bad. Anyway, sorry.
Wonka's just.
Yeah. I mean, granted, if they
Did
go
you
for
all-
like a rated, honestly, if they go for like a rated R Joker style movie where it's just his crazed descent into making a murderous chocolate factory, I'll actually watch that. But something tells me it's not
Have you
gonna be
seen the stuff for the new Joker movie?
they're making a new Joker movie.
Yeah, they're making a sequel.
Yeah.
What's it called? It's gonna have Joaquin Phoenix is in it, and then Lady Gaga is gonna be in it.
No, I can't have another sequel to. God, that's one of the only masterpieces Hollywood has put out in the past decade or so. I can't let them make a terrible sequel to it.
It's gonna be called Joker Folie à Deux.
French have no
Yeah,
right
it's
to
French. Well,
and they must be
it
heard
translates to it translates to an identical or similar mental disorder affecting 2 or more individuals.
So is Lady Gaga Harley Quinn?
I think so, and I've also from what I've heard, it's going to be like a weird like musical. I'm actually surprised you've never heard of it.
I just want
Because I know you loved the original Joker more than I did, so I was actually surprised.
I just don't want them to act like tards in the movie. They can't even do that. Now, granted, any Joker or DC movie which gets rid of the obnoxious chick they have playing Harley Quinn, I'm glad.
Margot Robbie?
Yes, she has one single role of acting, and it is insufferable. Like, the reason it worked in the Suicide Squad is because the whole team they had kind of played off well with her. But whenever they have her, she plays it the whole, oh, if I move my voice and move my face like this and talking in
Yeah,
voice.
from what I've heard, she plays that like I'm so quirky kind of thing.
Yes, the problem it's like, who's the actress who plays Hermione Granger?
I've never seen Harry Potter, so I don't know.
All right. The actress who plays Hermione Granger in the Harry Potter movies, they later had her play, and I'm sorry to mention this, but the live action Beauty and the Beast, they had her play Belle, and she didn't play Belle in that. She just played herself effectively. And that's, you know what I'm talking about when actors do that?
Yeah.
Like, the thing that annoys me about no end is who's the actor for Harley Quinn right now?
Margot Robbie.
The problem I have with her is she doesn't play Harley Quinn. She plays herself dressed up as Harley Quinn. And then everyone just is making that Harley Quinn. Like,
Yeah.
I know I'm more of a comic nerd on this, so I'm probably going to be bothered by it way more than other people. But just compare Harley Quinn before that lady was there, and then after it, and it's 2 different characters. and one's a lot more annoying than the other. Yeah, there's my rant. Anyway, so what's
But yeah, Joker 2 is going to come out October 4th, 2024.
and it's gonna be a musical with Lady Gaga allegedly
Well,
play.
from what I've read, it's going to be written like a Clockwork Orange kind of musical, which doesn't make sense because that wasn't a musical.
And that was a terrible movie.
Yeah, I agree on that. Have
Oh,
you
God.
seen the trailer for the Mario movie?
Yes.
Let's
Oh my
discuss the Mario movie.
God, that was oh
That
that
movie's
was
going to be interesting.
well, I'd support it if they made it like rated R or something just to make it unique. But I watched the trailer where you know what the Uncanny Valley is?
Yeah.
The animation for like the backgrounds are so good on that movie trailer. It's weird to describe it. Looking at any background in that trailer was giving me the Uncanny Valley effect. Like this is a Mario movie with Chris Pratt and it should not look like this. And then there's the
Chris
fact
Pratt should not be in it.
and then there was the fact that you had Toad and I don't remember if they gave Toad teeth or not, but something about
Oh,
him I
God.
remember was something about Toad in that trailer I remember made me creeped the hell out of me. And then you have Bowser and Penguins fighting. And then the joke is they throw snowballs which do nothing. And
Oh,
then
yeah.
Bowser swats them aside. And it's like peak comedy. You know, Angry Birds 2 levels of comedic genius.
Jack Black actually pulls off Bowser.
I just, they just should not be wasting so much money on a stupid movie like this.
I know. It's Illumination, too, which makes it even
Oh
worse.
God, that's illumination. They made all right. What movies? All right, they made Despicable Me,
Minions.
Sing, and Lorax.
Secret Life of Pets.
All right, they made Despicable Me, Sing, and did they make Lorax? Or was that another studio?
No, they made Lorax.
All right, so Despicable Me, Sing, Lorax, and Horton Hears a Who. They have made four good movies. I'll give them that.
And they've also made Secret Life of Pets, too.
Okay, beg to differ on that. That one's more of a math film to me. But they've made
Yeah.
like 4.5 good movies. What? And every other movie they've made is a burning train wreck. And Nintendo's deciding to give their number one biggest money maker to actually number two, Pokemon and all that. They're
Yeah.
giving the number two money maker to Illumination.
Well, when they did the awful live action Mario movie in the 90s, that was by
You know what?
Disney.
You know what? This will sound quite heretical, but at least that was unique. It was not good by any means. It's like a Waterworld kind of movie. But at least you remember it for how uniquely bad it was. With this one, it's like Angry Birds 2. No one remembers how bad it was because no one remembers it existed.
It's funny to me because the live action Mario movie is a Disney movie technically. And maybe that's why they didn't go to them.
Yeah.
But Illumination just isn't that great of a choice.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but as my favorite video game franchise right now is Fire Emblem, and Nintendo has
Ew.
no, it's a good game series. But the problem I have with Nintendo right now is they have a lot of good franchises, but they are incredibly incompetent right now. Like they're making the new Fire Emblem, half the characters are just copied from previous games. They're making Splatoon 3 is a copy of the previous two, and there's
Yeah.
a bunch of other crap. They made Pikmin, the newest Pikmin game, like 12 years after the previous one, just because they love torturing that fan base. Imagine waiting 12 years for a sequel to your video game.
Well, technically Chibi Robo hasn't gotten a sequel since the GameCube.
What? Chibi Robo.
Chibi Robo.
Would you clarify that for the audience?
You don't know what Chibi Robo is? It's great.
Chibi. So if I'm
it's a GameCube game. It's really fun.
So if I mention I like Fire Emblem, that's you. If you play a game called Chibi Robo, that's an underappreciated masterpiece.
It actually is. People love that game. And it's gotten horrible sequels.
Hmm.
Chibi Robo Ziplash is a bad game.
Hmm.
But the original, everyone loves.
You know, I think we'll just have you on a TED Talk someday to rant about that. But that point aside, yeah, it just frustrates me because I'm watching Nintendo on the game front kind of bungle everything single one they're doing. Like they're pretty incompetent right now. And then they're deciding, hey, let's put several $100 million onto a Mario movie with Chris Pratt, Toad with teeth, and give it to Illumination. What could go wrong with Jack
Why
Black?
Chris Pratt, though?
I don't
Why?
because it's the same
They
reason they had
chose the whitest guy to play this Italian character.
well, Italians are what I think it's because it's the same reason they had Dwayne The Rock Johnson playing Black Adam to tie into what I said earlier. Now, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, he did a great job as Black Adam. Hats off to him for his performance. But the reason he got that role probably wasn't because of the performance. I'm guessing it was because he is one of the most recognizable actors in Hollywood right now. Like
Yeah,
same
that's
thing
fair.
with Chris Pratt. Yeah, it's been a thing in movies ever since they started it up that if you have a famous actor in it that people know and you can slap that name on your poster, that's going to be at least a few extra people coming to see it.
Yeah, I guess so.
Because other than that, do you really think that Japanese executives over in Tokyo were listening to Chris Pratt's performance and were thinking about how great it fit their character Mario?
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah. No, Chris Pratt. I'm sorry, Chris Pratt is one of the most North European people in existence, and there's nothing wrong with that. But you have to at least like try to put on an Italian accent, and he makes no effort.
No, he does. Well, I mean, I'm willing to maybe give him a little slack in the trailer because he only had like one sentence. But I'm not going to hold my breath on it.
Well, yeah, but let's be honest. There's a reason why like everyone memes Chris Pratt on this, and like no one's like, "Oh, wow, I wonder if he'll do a good job." We all know why he's in there.
Yeah,
And not
yeah.
because of any performance.
No, it's yeah. Also, have you just seen what Mario looks like in that
He
movie?
kind of
He looks ugly.
I remember him looking hyper realistic. I don't remember him looking ugly. Mario.
His face is so ugly looking.
All right, I'm on the Dune guy right now.
Mm.
All right, images and oh, why does he look even fatter than he does in the game?
I didn't think of that, but
Why does
I was talking about his face.
Yeah, there's something wrong with his cheeks. Like they look a bit too stretched out.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I'm seeing an image of Toad right now. And I understand why I was so scared by Toad despite him being like a kid's movie character. Hold up. Isn't there a chat?
Yeah. In the general. Okay. It's not just it's not just the teeth that bothers me. It's the fact that he's just soulless black eyes.
Yeah, that is creepy as hell. That's a kid's movie.
That's a little disturbing.
Why don't they have wait, I know what a Mario movie that would make money. Have a rated R Mario movie where that Toad is the horror movie monster. That'll make bank. That'll work. Because that's not going to work as like your friendly kids mascot. You know, there's a reason why you don't go up to children looking like this. It generally will get a restraining order on you. But Toad didn't get the memo.
It's a little creepy.
What's a little creepy? Smile, Sonny. It makes the world brighter.
Yeah. Will you see the movie though?
If I get dragged along kicking and screaming, yes. Otherwise, I will.
I might still check it out.
Otherwise, I will listen.
Just out of curiosity.
Otherwise, I'll listen to a dozen reviews and then bitch about it in person. So, yep. Have you seen the trailer for Violent Night?
That's the one that's the Santa one, isn't it?
Yeah, I actually genuinely want to see that movie. It's made by the same people who made Bullet Train. Did you see that?
I did see that, and that movie was fine.
I liked it. There was about 15 minutes in the middle of Bullet Train where it felt really slow to me. Outside of that, I think it was a bit generic, but it was extremely well done.
I think the only thing I can say about it is it felt like a Sony movie.
What does that mean?
Some Sony movies have this style that only they have been able to make.
Is that like a
I
good or
can't
a bad?
explain it, but I know it when I see it.
Because Sony makes like a crap ton of movies. I having trouble.
Yeah, I know, and they do make good movies every once in a while, but
Yeah. Anyway, I liked Bullet Train and Violent Night. Kind of looks like it looks funny and Santa's kicking some ass. So I think that'd be a good movie to see.
you know that there is going to be a remake to The Wizard of Oz.
Let me guess. One of them is gonna. All right. Well, what random identity change will each of the characters undergo?
Okay. There isn't really any like information on it. I think there's a director, and that's it.
All right.
There is going to be let's see. We'll be writing and directing a reimagining of the 1939 Wizard of Oz.
That term never goes well. Never, ever. And my God, I look like a neckbeard from this angle.
It will be a modern reimagining.
Those are the two words that are used to suicide every franchise they're used on. There's not one franchise where that ever ends well. Can you name me a single modern reimagining that's gone well? Got my hair.
No, I no.
I
Well,
can't
that's just
wait.
because remakes in general just don't work.
Yeah.
It doesn't have a release date though. That's just something that's just been announced.
Oh yeah. I can't wait for it. Don't you?
Did you see the
Don't you
trailer
love
for
it?
John Wick Chapter 4?
Oh, I haven't seen that.
I just recently watched the first three for the first time.
Oh yeah.
The first two are pretty good. Third one's just kind of mediocre.
Yeah. John Wick Chapter 3 it has two. The main problem I think that movie has is, if I remember it correctly, and keep in mind I saw that movie a few years ago, but John Wick essentially goes out into the desert to find this Arab guy in charge of the giant secret organization that controls all assassins. He cuts off a
Yeah.
finger and he's like, I want to forget. I want to be an assassin forever. And he's like, okay, then you're one of us forever. You can never go back once you do this. And he chops off his finger and he joins. And then afterwards, almost immediately after, he's like, you know what? I don't want to be an assassin anymore. And then the entire assassin world comes down on him because, like, half the movie's redundant.
I'd say
And
the main problem I have with Chapter 3 is that it's just there isn't a lot of action in it.
is that the one where they have him and the Japanese guy who fight in the end? John Wick Chapter 3?
That might be the second one.
Because I don't remember. I don't remember if it's 3 or 2 that has that one fight.
I don't remember. It might. I remember the fight in the second one more than I remember in the third one, so I don't remember.
Hmm.
But the first two are pretty good.
Yeah.
The only thing I didn't like about the first one is just the dog being killed.
Yeah. I mean, I can
don't like
handle
that.
people dying in. I can handle people dying in movies, but dogs, no.
It's always funny how people get more upset over a dog dying in a movie than a person.
I'm gonna be honest. I kind of fall into that same camp, and I agree. It is kind of weird, but
I agree too. I mean, I hate people, so that has something to do with it.
Come on, Nick. Look at things in the bright side.
I am not a people person.
Be an optimist. You know, the world is doing so well right now, isn't
No,
it?
it isn't. No, it isn't.
I'm not going crazy. That's just me winking to be sarcastic. Anyway, yeah.
And I hate children too.
You're just a barrel laughs.
Every time I hear a child cry at a grocery store, I just want to chuck it into the ground.
You know, we're going to end up on the whole Disney World.
For legal reasons, that was a joke. For legal reasons, that was a joke.
Yes, totally. Anyway, all right. I'm probably going to have to leave and do something productive real soon. But last thing, D&D movie. Have you seen that?
A what?
Dungeons and Dragons. You know what that is?
I'm familiar with the game, but I didn't know they were making a movie on it.
Yep, they made a trailer for it. And it's not terrible. The problem is it might be one of the most generic movies ever made. Like there's Hollywood. I can't come up with a good name for it right now. But essentially, you have 80s rock music. You have it's an adventure action movie against the Dark Lord. It's not serious at all. You have the main character is a comic relief kind of character instead of being anything serious. Every person there is a quirky thief. Like one turns into an owl bear. On planning sessions, instead of talking about the characters, they're like, "Oh, I make plans, and in case those go wrong, I make backup plans." He's like, "Oh, so you make plans that fail."
Oh my god, there's a Dungeons and Dragons movie that came out in 2000.
Yes, I know that happened, but they're making one like for this year or somewhere around that.
It has a 3.6 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. The problem with making a Dungeons and Dragons movie is, first off, the way Dungeons and Dragons work, you couldn't really make one movie off of it. Like,
Isn't it like a really complicated game?
It kind of depends on the people involved, because really you don't even need it's not as complicated as it sounds. Like I was really one of the people who was kind of afraid to play it because of that, but I played it at his place with his dad, and as long as you have like a competent dungeon master, the guy running the game, it's not anywhere as complicated as it seems. It like I recommend it, but the problem with any attempt to make a Dungeons and Dragons movie is, the best way to describe it is, you're usually in Dungeons and Dragons, you will fight like the dragons, the orcs, the goblins, the Dark Lord. But most of the time you'll die or end up near death because of your party's own incompetence or fighting each other. And granted, like with how I played D&D with Aiden, in our group, I played a mentally stunted knight who got hit in the head so many times in battle, he was completely concussed and kind of psychotic because of it. You know, like he didn't understand opening doors, so he just used his giant battle axe to crash down through them. And he had extremely high charisma. So I would talk to, say, a bunch of weregoblins who were trying to eat me and convince them to found the weregoblin empire with me as their head. And that sounds stupid and crazy, but that's kind of how a good D&D game goes. You know, you're more. Yeah. The problem is, first off, that would be a really unorthodox movie for Hollywood to make about a party that's more of a threat to itself than the Dark Lord is. And it'd have a lot of weird jokes in it, like the whole, weregoblin thing I mentioned. And B, Dungeons and Dragons is more of, it's not a setting like, say, Lord of the Rings. It's more of a sandbox is the best way to describe it, where you're supposed to make the world where the game takes place in. So they'd have to go up to a bunch of players, ask them for the story, and then use it for there and hope it goes well. Now, granted, you could make a lot of good movies off of that, but that would take the creative and risky option of making a movie on it. And creative and risky is not two words that go in Hollywood right now. Yeah. Anyway, there's my D&D rant. Sorry for kind of drowning me out there.
So
I just don't. Dungeons and Dragons, just I don't know.
it's a
I would definitely not watch it just because I have no interest in it. But
well, just watch the trailer and you'll understand what I mean about it being generic.
yeah,
Like I probably won't watch it either unless like a friend wants me to, because because if a movie's bad but if someone wants to watch it as a social interaction, I'll be fine with that.
yeah, I could
But
definitely see that.
if it's my own money, like my own shekels on the line, my own time, no, I won't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so definitely try giving Dungeons and Dragons a try. That's a fun game if you know what you're doing. I mean,
If you know what you're doing.
yes, if you can hire me to write the entire setting, it'll be magnificent. Trust me.
Oh yeah, this trailer looks. It's so bright. It looks like a CBS show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, sorry to cut things short, but I'm gonna have to go pretty soon. It's
One
been
last
great.
thing before we go. What should we watch? What do you suggest to watch for next time?
Hmm. Is Gattaca on YouTube?
Oh, that's a good. I haven't seen that in a while.
Hold up, I just want to check it out. See.
Oh yeah, it's free on YouTube.
All right. So maybe I'd recommend Gattaca because I think we could go a lot more in depth with that specific movie.
I need to rewatch that movie. The last time I watched it was biology.
Yeah. Actually,
Yeah, all right.
I was gonna suggest Snowpiercer, but I don't think that's on Netflix anymore. I'm not sure where that went.
I've never heard of it.
It's basically the sequel to Willy Wonka. Look up Snowpiercer is Willy Wonka sequel on YouTube. Just do it. Trust me. You'll. All right.
Bong
will not-
Joon-ho,
What?
directed by Bong Joon-ho.
I don't know who that guy is, but yes.
He's the guy who made Parasite.
Okay. I know
You've
everyone.
never seen Parasite?
No, all I remember is everyone tried to make that movie and claim that movie was a masterpiece, so Joker didn't get the Oscar.
Well, one day you will watch it.
One day you'll watch Lord of the Rings. We're all working. Everyone here is working on their own.
Well, you've given me a lot of like movies I need to watch. Lord of the Rings, Shrek.
You've never seen Shrek?
Well, no, I've seen the first. I saw the first one. I was like extremely young. I just don't remember anything about it.
All right. There are 3 good Shrek movies. There's Shrek 1, 2, and Shrek the Musical. 3 and 4 get into the. There was a point where Shrek 1 and 2 and the musical were memes, but they were still good movies on their own, memes aside. Shrek 3 and 4 aren't. They got good memes, though, so that's all I'll say. Anyway, audience, I will get him to watch Shrek, all right?
One day, just like Lord of the Rings. One day I will watch that.
We will accomplish it. We need to see your reaction to watch.
Because I have genuinely thought about watching Lord of the Rings. But the reason I haven't is because they're 3 3-hour movies.
No, they're 4-hour movies if you watch the extended edition.
I am not watching the extended versions.
It is mandated by law. With modern day Hollywood, do you really have much of any movies that would be better to watch?
I don't know.
I'm hearing a deafening silence. Anyway.
All
right. So it's been great talking with you, Nick. Anyway.
Yep.
Sorry.
Well, we'll talk in a couple weeks for second episode. I will make this. I don't know when this will be uploaded. Maybe today.
See you, bud.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.